There were 8 dragon kings present at the Vajra Sutra Assembly. Were 8 dragon kings. The dragon king Nanda, the dragon king Upananda. The first was Nanda. Nanda is Sanskrit and means bliss. Upananda means wholesome bliss. These 2 dragon kings were brothers. In the past, they were very unruly. Later, they met and were tamed by Mahamudgalyayana. Now, they have become Dharma protectors who have come to the Dharma Flower Assembly to listen to the sutra. The 2 dragon brothers, Bliss and Wholesome Bliss, guard Magadha, regulating the winds and rain, and ensuring good crops, benefiting the population greatly. The dragon king Sagara. Sagara means ocean. He is a dragon king who lives in the sea. The dragon king Vasuki. Vasuki means many heads. A single dragon body may have 9 heads, 12 heads, 15 heads, 3 or 7 heads. The dragon king Dashaka. Dashaka means putting forth poison. He puts forth many lethal vapors. The dragon king Anavatapta. Anavatapta means no heat. The dragon king Manasvin. His name means large body because he is very big. The dragon king Utpalaka, which means blue lotus, and others each with his retinue of several hundreds of thousand followers. Not only were these 8 dragon kings present, but there were also a lot more. Each dragon king brought along a flock of dragon sons and dragon grandsons, lots of little dragons, several hundreds of thousands of them in their train. Sutra. There were 4 Kinnara kings. The Kinnara king Dharma, the Kinnara king Fine Dharma, the Kinnara king Great Dharma, and the Kinnara king Upholder of Dharma, each with his retinue of several hundreds of thousands of followers. Commentary. There were 4 Kinnara kings. Not only were there dragons present in the assembly, but there were also Kinnara kings. Kinnaras are one of the 8 classes of supernatural beings. The 8 classes of supernatural beings include the gods, dragons, yakshas, gandharvas, asuras, garudas, and mahoragas. Kinnara means doubtful spirit because they resemble human beings, but they have a horn on their head. Kinnaras are musicians in the court of the Jade Emperor, Shakra. The Kinnara king Dharma. There was a doubtful spirit called Dharma, who has many dramas or methods of making music. The Kinnara king Fine Dharma not only has many dramas for making music, but they are extremely fine. His music is such that it impresses all who hear it. The Kinnara king Great Dharma and the Kinnara king Upholder of Dharma. The Kinnara king Great Dharma makes music of magnificent sounds. His Dharma is great, and so are the sounds of his music. The music made by the doubtful spirit Upholder of Dharma leads pupils to bring forth hearts which delight in cultivating according to Dharma. Fine Dharma's music not only leads people to study and practice the Buddha Dharma, but it also expresses the fine and subtle sounds of Dharma. The music made by Great Dharma expresses the greatness and expansiveness of the Buddha Dharma. Upholder of Dharma's music is not only delightful to hear, it also makes people want to cultivate according to the Dharma, to receive and uphold the Dharma. Each with his retinue of several hundreds of thousands of followers. Each Kinnara king was accompanied by a lot of followers. several hundreds or several thousands, or perhaps several tens of thousands of them in their train. Sutra. There were 4 Gandharva kings: the Gandharva king music, the Gandharva king musical sound, the Gandharva king beautiful, and the Gandharva king beautiful sound, each with his following of several hundreds of thousands of followers. Commentary. Gandharvas are also musical spirits in the dread emperor's court. Hearing that the Kinnaras and Gandharvas are musicians, we should not become attached to the fact and say, in Buddhism, there are the Kinnara kings and the Gandharva kings who make music and then use it as an excuse to study music. You should know that they made music for the Dread Emperor. It was not made within the Buddha Dharma. After taking refuge with the Buddha, they became Buddhism's Dharma protectors and are listed with the 8 classes of supernatural beings, some of which are ghosts and some spirits who protect the Buddha Dharma. This is not a recommendation that you study music. There were 4 Gandharva kings. Gandharva is a Sanskrit word which means incense inhalers, because they particularly like the smell of incense. When the dread emperor wishes to make music, he just burns some ox-head chandana incense, and when the Gandharvas smell it, they come to make extremely fine music. The first was the Gandharva king music, a talented musician. The Gandharva king musical sound made even better music than the Gandharva king music. The Gandharva king beautiful. His music was exquisitely beautiful, not only melodic but elegant as well. The Gandharva king beautiful sound was the last of the Gandharva kings, each with his retinue of several hundreds of thousands of followers. There were lots of little Gandharvas in their train, and also lots of little Kinnaras. All came to hear the Buddha speak the Dharma. Don't be like a certain singer who goes around chirping like a bird and singing a song for everyone he sees. Don't be like that. What is more, that person is always making excuses for himself to me, saying, of the 84,000 Dharma doors, this is the one. He says that making music is one of the Dharma doors, but he is utterly shameless. He is attached to and caught up in music, and so he tries to snag others into becoming attached to it as well. It's truly pitiful. Sutra. There were 4 Asura kings: the Asura king Balin, the Asura king Karaskanda, the Asura king Vamechichin, and the Asura king Rahu, each with his retinue of several hundreds of thousands of followers. Commentary. Asura is a Sanskrit word which is interpreted without wine, for they have no wine to drink. It is also interpreted as ugly, because they have a very repulsive appearance. This applies only to the men, because the women are very beautiful. They are called without wine because they have the blessings of gods, but not the authority of the gods. Asuras may be found in the realms of the gods, people, hungry ghosts, and animals. Asuras are of a hostile temperament. They relish fighting. They like to wage and win wars. In the heavens, a group of Asuras are especially warlike and are constantly battling with their heavenly generals and troops. As I have told you many times before, the Asura king Vamachichin had a beautiful daughter named Shachi, to whom the Dread Emperor became engaged. Why did he want to marry her? The Dread Emperor still has thoughts of desire as well as a body. Because he has not severed the thoughts of sexual desire, he likes beautiful women. One day, catching sight of the beautiful Asura girl, he became enamored of her and asked the Asura king for his daughter's hand in marriage. The Asura king thought, the Dread Emperor's got a lot of power, and he consented. After they were married, the Dread Emperor liked to listen to an immortal speaker the Dharma. Because he went to lectures every day, the Asura girl soon grew suspicious. He goes out every day and never gets home until late at night. Most likely he's out playing around with other women. Finally, she confronted him. Just where do you go every day? You wouldn't be conducting some improper business on the side, would you? No, said the Dread Emperor. I go to lectures on the Sutras every day, and that's why I'm always home late. You shouldn't be suspicious. The Asura girl, not believing he was going to Sutra lectures, decided he must certainly be up to no good. The Asura girl had a certain amount of spiritual power and was able to make herself invisible. She could be standing in one spot, an ordinary pupil with mortal eyes, or even the Dread Emperor with his heavenly eyes couldn't see her. So one day, when as usual the Dread Emperor got in his chariot and headed for the lecture, the Asura girl made herself invisible and rode along. Upon arriving, the Dread Emperor got out of the chariot, and so did the Asura girl. Then she materialized. What are you doing here? Asked the Dread Emperor in surprise. What are you doing here? She snorted. I've come to listen to the Sutra lecture, he said. Well, so have I, she cuttered. Now the Dread Emperor is still a common mortal. He is not a certified sage by any means, and so he sometimes gets afflicted. This time he picked up his lotus flower whip and slashed the Asura girl. The Asura girl was furious and went directly to her father. Previously, when the Dread Emperor was about to be married, he had invited the Asura king to a banquet. As a gesture of respect to his new father-in-law, he sent out his heavenly generals and troops to welcome him. However, the Asura king was suspicious and was displeased at the Dread Emperor's display of power. Now his daughter returned with the report that the Dread Emperor was not following the rules at all. Every day he goes out with other women, she said. And today, when I tried to talk to him about it, he struck me. At this, the Asura king became enraged. Dread Emperor, he stormed, this means war. We are going to fight to the finish. And he mobilized the Asura troops against the Dread Emperor. Strangely enough, the Dread Emperor launched battle after battle and could find no way to overcome the Asura king. Finally, he had no recourse but to ask the Buddha for help. The Buddha told him to instruct his troops all to recite Mahaprana Paramita. As they went into battle, they recited the phrase Mahaprana Paramita. The Asuras lost battle after battle until they had retreated as far as they could and were backed up into a lotus seed pod. Why was the Asura king unable to withstand Mahaprana Paramita? It's very simple. Before they recited it, they would win a battle and then lose a battle. After they recited the phrase the Buddha taught them, they won continuously. Previously, the Asuras and the heavenly troops had been more or less equal in strength. Neither side had any wisdom to speak of, and their battles were utterly chaotic. When the heavenly troops recited Mahaprana Paramita, they attained great wisdom, while the asuras still had none. When those without wisdom fight those with wisdom, they invariably lose. So the asuras were very stupid, and the heavenly troops were very wise. When the wise battle against the stupid, sooner or later, the stupid ones always lose. Such was the situation between the asuras and the heavenly troops. More than anything, asuras like to fight. We can take a look at the people in the world. Whoever likes to fight is an asura. Asuras aren't necessarily found only in the heavens. Human beings who like strife and war are transformation bodies of asuras. They like to fight when they were in the heavens, and they continue to do so as people. There were 4 asura kings. The asura king Balin. Balin means fettered, because he was tied up. Who tied him up? He was tied up by the heavenly troops. The asura king Karaskanda. Karaskanda means broad-shouldered Bliss, because his shoulders were especially broad and he was very powerful. The asura king Vamachichin. Vamachichin was the asura king just mentioned who fought the Jet Emperor. Although he was terribly ugly, his daughter was remarkably beautiful. After his battle with the Jet Emperor, he ended up retreating into the seed pod of a lotus. His name means seawater wave sound. The asura king Rahu. Rahu means obstructing and holding, for when he raises his hand, he can blot out the light of the sun and moon. One could explain his name in many ways. You might say he can obstruct afflictions. You might also say that he is obstructed by afflictions. If you say he can obstruct afflictions, then he has no afflictions. That's one explanation. You could also say that he has been obstructed by afflictions, so that all day long he gets angry and wants to pick a fight. Each with his retinue of several hundreds of thousands of followers, each asura brought along a great many followers. Sutra. There were 4 Garuda kings. The Garuda king great majesty, the Garuda king great body, the Garuda king great fullness, and the Garuda king as you will, each with his own retinue of several hundreds of thousands of followers. Commentary. There were 4 Garuda kings. What's a Garuda king? Those of you who have heard sutras explained will know. Those who haven't will know after I explain it. Garuda is Sanskrit. It means the great golden-winged hummingbird. They are not born from eggs, but from the womb and from transformation. Their bodies are immense, and they have a wingspread of 3,000 yojanas, a yojana being 80 li, a li being about 1/3 of a mile. When he flaps his wings, the entire ocean dries up, exposing all the dragons who live in its depths. The hummingbird then eats the dragons one by one, just like we eat noodles. Chickens and birds eat worms, and worms belong to the same category as dragons. In fact, most insects recognize dragons as their rulers. The small birds eat small worms, the big birds eat big worms, that is, the hummingbirds eat dragons. Dragons are simply big worms, while the hummingbirds have been eating the dragons for quite a while, until finally the dragons were on the verge of extinction. The reason we don't see dragons around in this world anymore is because, for the most part, they were eaten by the hummingbirds. If, however, the dragons became extinct, the hummingbirds would have nothing to eat and would also starve. This is why we don't see many pong birds around either. As the dragons disappeared, the pong birds lost their sustenance and began to diminish as well. So, if we in the world have nothing to eat, we will also become extinct. Finally, the dragons went to the Buddha pleading for help. The race of dragons is facing extinction, they said, because we are truly no match for the pong birds. With their spiritual strength, they can cause the oceans to dry up with a single mighty flap of their wings. Because we have no place to hide, they're eating us so fast that soon the race of dragons will entirely disappear. Then Shakyamuni Buddha took one of his old precept sashes, not a new one, and said, "Take this back with you and give one thread of it to each dragon you wear, and the pong birds will not able to see you." The dragons returned and followed the Buddha's instructions, and sure enough, the next time the pong birds flapped at the ocean, they saw no dragons on the bottom. When they figured out that the Buddha had helped the dragons, they went to the Buddha to argue their side of the case. "You've helped the dragons," they said, "but now we have nothing to eat and we are going to starve to death. What's to be done?" Shakyamuni Buddha said, "You won't starve. Don't eat the dragons. After this, I will instruct my disciples to send out part of my meal for you to eat every day at noon." This is why when we perform the noon meal offering, when we send out a bit of food for them, we recite this verse: "The great pong, the golden-winged bird, and all the ghosts and spirits in the wilds, the Rakshasa ghost mother and her children, may they all be filled with sweet dew." And we give the pong birds their food. From that time on, the pong birds did not eat the dragons. Nevertheless, they had managed to eat most of them, and now only a few dragons remain. There are only 4 or 5 dragons left, one in each ocean or so, and they are rarely seen. The great pong birds took refuge with the triple jewel, and you may have seen their pictures in various books. However, although the pong birds are huge, they have spiritual penetrations and can make themselves small. They are more or less like the dragons in that respect. Dragons that can perform transformations themselves, and they are pong bird food. So, of course, the spiritual penetrations of the pong birds must be inconceivable. Don't think that the spiritual penetrations of dragons are so special, because those of the great pong are even greater. There were 4 Garuda kings. The Garuda king, Great Majesty, he soars into empty space and fills the heavens and covers the earth with his majestic, awesome presence. The Garuda king, Great Body. Garuda kings are big enough to begin with, but this one is massive, bigger than the average Garuda. Even he is not as big as the Garuda king, Great Fullness. He is so big that when he lands on the ocean, he displaces every drop of water in it, completely filling it. The Garuda king, As You Will. There was yet another Garuda king called As You Will. As you like it, just as your heart wishes it to be. Everything just the way it should be. If you want to eat dragons, they jump right into his beak. He doesn't even have to flap his wings at the ocean to get his dragon meals, because as soon as he thinks about eating a dragon, they pop right into his mouth. He just says, "Here, here, I want to eat you," and the dragons obediently comply for the Garuda king, As You Will. Each with his retinue of several hundreds of thousands of followers. A great number of them all came to join The Dharma Flower Assembly,